this record is very special and near dear to my heart because I haven't seen this record in probably about 16 years. About 16 years ago, I started my own record label with a couple of buddies of mine. It was my friend Chase Revenge from the band Pistol Grip, and the other guy, I feel like an asshole. I can't remember his name. He used to work for Epitaph Records. And so we started our own record label called Lotus Limited. And we were looking for bands to add to our roster. And it was a fun time for me, you know, when you're first starting off a record label and learning, you know, how to set up your business accounts and get everything going. It was fun, too. We would be driving, and when we had questions about what we're supposed to be doing, he'd call Sean Stern from legendary punk band The Youth Brigade. And Sean is also the owner of BYO Records. So when we had questions about records, we would call him up, and he would help us out. Real cool guy. Really want to get him on the show. Youth Brigade is another one of my favorite bands ever. So we were looking for bands, and there was a band, and this is the record that I have. Are we up yet?
Yeah, we're up.
All right, cool. Check this out, Dutchie. This is a 7-inch, and I paid $4.20, so $4.20. I'm not sure why that was. I know
That's an expensive fucking 7-inch right there.
Well, the $4.20 thing is what makes me laugh. It's like I don't know how he came up with that price. But anyway, this band right here is called Holly Tree, right? So Holly Tree was a band that we used to work with a lot. They're from Brazil, and they were really big in Brazil. They actually won like an MTV2 award, you know, the MTV2 channel when that shit actually still played music. And then they came to the States, and they were trying to get gigs, and they'd crash at my house, and they would, and then I'd book them some gigs and stuff, right? And I haven't seen this in forever, and I just happened to find it. So this is a Holly Tree, and the 7-inch is called Anytime, Anywhere. So that's going to be the first one that I start off with. I got to tell you, I haven't seen them in years. I don't even know if they're still a band. I don't know. I know they had problems with their visa, so they had to go back to Brazil. But I tell you what, Dutchie, out of all the bands that I've ever seen in my life, and that's a lot of them, right? There's certain bands you can just say, like, holy shit, these guys are amazing live. And with these guys, I'm not bullshitting you, man. Their live show was probably top 3. And I wouldn't even go so far as to say, you know, top 2. Just an amazing set. So anyway, let's start off the Black Lung Show here on this wonderful Sunday afternoon.
This band actually stayed at your place.
Yeah, they did.
Wow, that's cool as fuck.
This is Holly Tree. You're listening to the Black Lung Show live on chaoticradio.com. Anytime, anywhere. Love this band. Check it out. That was Holly Tree with Anytime, Anywhere. I can't believe I found that yesterday. Well, that takes me back. So the other thing, when we had the label, right, So we were working, like I was saying, we were working with Sean Stern from the Youth Brigade and BYO Records. And at that time, this is 16 years ago, mind you, this was the very fledgling first beginnings of BYO's punk rock bowling. They're the ones that put that on. And so I was actually part of that. It might have been like the second or third year of punk rock bowling. I don't remember.
This year was the 20th year, right? I believe it was the 20th year this year.
Was it? Okay, then. So
I could be wrong.
16 years ago, so maybe third, fourth. I don't know. We actually had a team, so we actually bowled in the tournament. It was myself, and I think one of the members of Holly Tree, my other partner that I still can't remember his fucking name. And it was cool because it was a lot smaller. Like now it's fucking enormous, right?
That's crazy.
It was nuts. And I remember just walking down, and there's Fat Mike from NoFX, and we're all in the casino and just walking by everybody. And it was funny too because I think one of the things that they gave you, like if you got like third place in the bowling tournament, the prize was like gay porn. Like that was it. that was the prize, I guess, for doing that. And it was so much smaller, but to see it grow, and have you been to the punk rock bowling?
I went this year for the first time.
Did you? How'd you dig it?
Oh, I loved it. It was probably the best run show I've ever seen.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Did you go to now? How many of the shows did you actually go to? Did you go to any of the side venues?
I only went to 2 side venues, but I went to the main venue all 3 days.
Who was headlining that one?
The main headliner, I believe, was Cock Sparrow.
Oh shit!
In fact, I've got one. Next time you play a song, I'll go in and bring you the punk rock bowling program out.
All right.
I believe it was Cock Sparrow.
Okay. There was also, and this is going to go back to look. I'm going to go through the stack of vinyls right here. Again, like the guests, the whole punk scene just kind of comes full circle. And at that time, I went to a side venue that year, and if you listen to the show last week, we're one of my favorite bands of all time. And I'm holding up the brand new album that I just got out. We played this last week. I'm not going to play it again. I'm going to try to play you some different stuff. This is the Cadillac Tramps. And Gabby, God rest his soul, just passed away. And I was fortunate enough not to see the Tramps, but Gabby was also in a couple other bands. He's also in Manic Hispanic, and he was also in a band called Flock of Goo. And that was like a weird 80s tribute band that was like kind of punk. So I got to see them at one of the side venues. So it was a great, crazy time. Anyway, so I want to keep the show going. Oh, by the way, if you want to call in and talk to me or Dutchie, the call-in number is area code 909-360-8330. If you want to call in with a request, feel free. I'm not going to play it. I'm going to play the shit that I want to. That's the one cool thing about having this show. And so here's another. I've just got stories about all these bands, and so here's one. There's only been a handful of bands on my show that I've had back more than once. What about you, Dutchie? Have you had more? Have you had bands come in on your show like
I've had multiple bands come back multiple times. Some bands have been. Unit F has been in 3 times.
And I'm rocking their shirt right now.
Oh yes, you are. Yeah.
We love Unit F. Dutchie and I got a chance to go see it. If you guys are listening, check out Unit F, man. That's a great fucking
I just
band.
got a message this week from Bridget the Midget.
You did?
Saying, hey, it was a year ago we were on your show, we want to come back. Which, how cool is that they go out of their way to ask himself back,
No, that's great.
For their 1-year anniversary of coming in on the show.
That's awesome. Well, I want to be part of that. See if I
you know what? Maybe we should put her on your show instead of mine.
That might be a good idea.
So she can experience, she's already been on my show. Fuck it.
Well, like I told you last week on December, I think it's 29th, we're going to be playing with her over at PK's Roadhouse in Lake Elsinore.
I did not know that.
Yeah. It's us. World Class Act is going to be on the bill. They're the ones that actually got us on the bill. So thank you, Carlos, for that. It's going to be us, World Class Act, and a band called Spix. It's a play on words, I think. It's a Mexican punk rock band. And the Bridget the Midget Band. And the cool thing is that at this show, there's no cover charge. So just come out and hang out with us, have some beers. So yeah, so who else have you had on your show multiple times?
Narcoleptic Youth.
Really? How many times have you had them?
They've been on there twice.
Okay.
Man, there's so many bands. Scurvy Kids have been on a couple of times. Ross Lammers from GBH has been on twice. Man, too many bands to even think about it. But yeah, a few.
Okay. I've had a couple of bands here and there where I've had them multiple times. One of them has been my good friend Eric Leach from Symbol Six. He's been in here in studio with all of Symbol Six. He's been in here, I think 3 times on my show. I got some Symbol Six. We'll play that later, but I'm using that as a prelude to this. And for you guys, listening, you're gonna have to bear with me because when I'm spitting vinyl and switching back from the 45s, to these other albums, I'm probably gonna fuck up the speeds. So just know that.
I was hoping you would.
I'm going. I'm going to trust me. Let's see.
But I know we've there's a few bands we've both had on our shows. That have been chaotic, a few times. Rick Agner's been in.
That's right. Rick and Narcoleptic You's been on my show as well.
Yeah, and when I saw the album, I'm like, yeah, they were on our show a couple of weeks ago. So it's we're the luckiest fuckers in the world.
Absolutely. So I got something for you. Now check this out. So here's a good story. When I was booking some of my guests, one of the first bands this band's been on my show twice. Okay, I'm not sure. Have you ever heard of a band called Since We Were Kids?
Never.
Okay, well, you're about to, and you're gonna love this too because this is the only album in this collection, and I'm gonna show this to you. Okay, so they first come on, and Patrick Smith had joined the band. That's a good friend of mine. I've known the guy since high school, and he's a great guy, great guitar player. He joins the band. They're a skatecore band. It's just they skate, they play hardcore punk rock. I've played a couple of shows with them. I think where did we do the last time I played with them? I think it was us and them and the Generators. We did a show at Bar 1650 in Corona. They come on the show, right? And then they got signed to Irish Voodoo Records. I think that's based out of Riverside. And they put out an album. And so they ask if they can come back on. Well, I think I asked them. I asked them, like, oh, you got a new record, man. Why don't you come on and we'll play it on the show? So the second time that Since We Were Kids was on my show, they brought in their new album. So this is the album. It's a little old now. I think it's been a year, maybe even longer. This is the album right here. For everybody, check. You guys got to check this out. It's a great album. These guys are great guys. Since We Were Kids, Hard Cement, No Regrets. Great skull and crossbones with skateboards going through it instead of the bones. You guys can see it on the YouTube thing. You guys can also check us out on YouTube. We're streaming live. If you want to see my sexy face and hear Dutchy's sexy voice. The cool thing about this, right? So check it out. This is when I was talking about the scene. So Dutchy, when they first walk in the first time, right? So Pat's bringing in, and that's my in with the band. Pat's in Since We Were Kids, and I had heard about them, and I'm like, yeah, come on the show. So as they walk into the studio, there's 2 guys that are with them, Dan, who plays guitar, and Art, who plays drums, and I recognize them immediately, and I'm like, holy shit, dude, I know you guys. They used to play in a band called Weak Sauce. They're from the high desert, like the Victorville area, and I used to play with him back in the late 1990s. And early 2000s. So, again, it's 17, 18 years ago. And I'm like, dude, I used to play with you guys when I was in either the Societies. I think it was in a punk band called Societies Unwanted. And so it's cool, man, how everything just comes full circle, right? And you see these people come into the studio and you're like, wow, man, good for you. And because I joke about this a lot with a lot of my friends that it takes a lot of dedication to keep doing this,
fuck yeah.
over the years, right?
Yeah, it does.
It wears on you, dude. Hearing all the bitching from bands, not getting paid, getting screwed over by clubs. Trying to find venues, to play. If you're in a band, you've got to have some thick skin. You got to deal with a bunch of shit, and you got to do it because you love it. And these guys stuck to it. So anyway, this is Dutchy. This is the part that you're gonna love. So what I was saying about what's different and special about this album. This is why I love having vinyl. Besides the fact that it just sounds so much better. As opposed to, going online now and downloading something and you got it through iTunes or something. You have something that you can hold in your hand. And the albums are great because, especially when they have like a pull-out. And this is a pull-out right here from Since We Were Kids, the album. You see this, Dutchy? Inside the pull-out on the back here is all the lyrics. And I always love that, too. Because
so do I, yeah.
If you got a great band and you want to know what they're singing so you can sing along with them, they got all the lyrics. And they got a bunch of pictures. And check this out. I mean, there's pictures with them with a bunch of different famous people that they've played with over the years. Guys from Teenage Bottle Rocket. There's Kerry King from Slayer. But right here, Dutchy, this picture right here. I know you can't see.
Is it you?
It's them here in the studio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Chaotic Radio. And in the back, You know when bands put out their albums and they have the special thanks.
Mm-hmm.
The special thanks is going on all these bands, and then right in the middle, right there, it's like thank you Ryan and Chaotic Radio. Chaotic Radio is actually in a thank you of an actual band of their album.
Do you know, I always used to wonder when bands would do their thanks, right? Why, and did it mean anything to the people who they said thanks to? And obviously it does. Do you ever see it? You know, that's cool as fuck. I love that.
Right? Yeah, I've been thanked. I think, or my band's been thanked in a couple albums here and there, but this is the first one, and I don't know about you. Has that ever happened to you? Have we?
Never.
Well, this is the first one we got, and there's a big Chaotic Radio logo. Now this is 2 years ago. This is how long ago it's been, because that was my original engineer when I first started doing the show, like 2.5. Yeah, look at there's all the buddies, man. There's Eddie Casillas from the Voodoo Glow Skulls, and you know, it's just it feels like family, man. It's great. So let's see. Let's see. We're gonna play a song, and I don't know because it's a colored vinyl. This is the blue edition. So this is Since We Were Kids. Love these guys. Check them out. Buy the album. Since We Were Kids. Hard Cement. No Regrets. Since We Were Kids on the Black Lung Show. That's some skatecore. What do you think of that, Dutchie?
I liked it. Like it a lot.
I thought I muted you. You did that.
No, I mute myself. I just it's good shit. I mean, the thing is with the music that we play, it's apart from the fact that it's local, because there's a lot of shit that a lot of bands come on my show. I don't like their fucking music. I'll be honest with you.
Right.
Don't like it. You know, I mean, I like old school British punk more than the American punk, but there's a bunch of bands that I fucking love. I mean, like I said, I mean, Unit F to me they're right there in my top 10 punk bands of all time.
Wow.
Simple as that, you know. There's other bands that I will play and listen to, streaming mixed in with other bands. There's bands I won't play at all, you know.
Yeah.
And I think I have enough honesty with these bands. And there was a band playing at the Doll Hut, and they said to me, "What do you think?" I said, "I fucking hate you." And they'd been on the show 2 weeks before.
Oh no.
And they're like, "What the fuck?" I said, "No, I don't like I don't like your music. You're fantastic fucking musicians. It's not my style of music, brother. It's 100 mile an hour, hardcore, scream punk. Don't fucking like it at all. Will never ever buy one of those albums. Ever. Don't like it."
That's a fair point. Like, have you've heard of that? You know how there's so many subgenres of punk rock with like pop punk and street punk and oi and all that stuff. You know, have you ever heard that stuff called crust punk?
Never.
Oh, you don't want to. Good God, man, that shit is awful. And I listened to it, and it's just not my thing. And it sucks too, because you want to be supportive of the scene, you know. And I said this on air the other day. I don't know who do? Oh, we had the Dayglow Abortions, I think, when they were in studio. Which, by the way, again, another great band, and I didn't think I was going to score them. You know, that's here's their brand new album that they've got out, Armageddon Survival Guide. You guys got to check this album out. This album is great. They were a great interview. Dutchie was with me, and man, that show went like 2.5 hours. It was,
Oh man, that was a great fucking show.
that fucking band. And so that's, when Dutchie says that we're the luckiest people around, we are. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm driving home from that show, and my friends that I used to play with, 15, 16, 17, almost 20 years ago, shit. We were listening to Dayglow Abortions, and they look and they're like, shit, you got them on your show. And I went from looking up to them and listening to their music to now I'm talking to them and interviewing them, and they're just nice, normal people. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, about the bands. I was talking to him on the show, and when I don't know about you, because I think Kat does all your booking for you, right?
Yeah.
So with me, I'm always posting up, and I'm always on the lookout for other bands. A lot of the times when I have bands that come on the show, it's usually because either I know who they are, I've played with them over the years, or they come recommended from another great band, and the band's like, you guys got to check this out. So like when we had the Darts, and maybe we'll play some of that stuff in a little bit. That was Justin from the Soul and Bones. He's like, Ryan, I'm tour managing for the Darts, and Dutchie was with me on that one. That was another great show. That's another great band. I want to say that they are very talented, and I would say that they're very beautiful ladies, but I don't want to get in this fucking hot water like these goddamn movie moguls. It's sexual harassment on the fucking radio.
Don't get in trouble.
Yeah.
Don't be a punk rocker.
Fuck that. They're hot.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, and then it's so weird, man, because like I said, everything comes full circle. So as we were talking about Narcoleptic Youth, right? I have played with Narcoleptic Youth over the years, and they're one of the coolest bands that I've ever had the chance to play with. And when you meet them, they're cool as shit. They're down to earth. They're not rock stars. They're just cool as fuck. So why not? Let's spin some more vinyl. This is Narcoleptic Youth, Nation Under Nothing. Here's the album, and guess who put this out? Doctor Strange Records. There's the fucking logo right there. Go to Doctor Strange Records. You can pick this one up. This is One Nation Under Nothing. This is Narcoleptic Youth. This is actually, I think, my favorite Narcoleptic Youth song. I'm going to play it. There goes a needle. This is Cocktail Sword, hopefully, if I didn't fuck it up. You're listening to The Black Lung Show.
Well, I'm not in control like I ought to be. Think of it, hell's just wait for me. My rush shake test is what I've been saying, and even back in what I say, I'm the right in the ring. So I'm mad, and I'm bored. Do not piss me off. I'm gonna tell you what's up with a cocktail sword. Wait a minute, why? 'Cause it's just an after me. The winner stabbed me in the jacket from the back of one bay. Every day I step close to my pen and doom. I'm thinking died in the jelly with a batty room. So I'm mad, and I'm bored. Do not piss me off. I'm gonna tell you what's up with a cocktail sword. Yeah, I see a turning runs from across the bar. To the white summer eyes, got him in your car. Flashing a save, but in a turn of the day, and I take a look in the mirror to watch killing free. 'Cause I'm mad, and I'm bored. Do not piss me off. I'm gonna tell you what's up with a cocktail sword. I'm gonna tell you what's up with a cocktail sword. So I'm not in control like I ought to be. Think of it, hell, just wait for me. Or I'll shake that summer, I'm insane, and never get the rest of them. No right in the ring. So I'm mad, and I'm bored. Do not piss me off. I'm gonna tell you what's up with a cocktail sword. So I'm mad, and I'm bored. Do not piss me off. I'm gonna stab you with a cocktail sword.
Narcoleptic Youth. I only scratched the record a little bit. I'm doing all right today with the spinning the vinyl. That was Narcoleptic Youth with Cocktail Sword. I think that is my favorite Narcoleptic Youth song. And they've got a lot of great ones, and they got a long history, a long catalog. They played a lot of great shows, a lot of great bands, and they're really, really nice, down to earth guys. I dig those guys a lot. So, with that being said, I'm having Dutchie look up some music for you, so I don't have to fuck it up with a vinyl. Well, So here's again. You know, these are I was saying I want to just talk about stories about some of these bands that I've had. So, Dutchie, I know that you got Cat booking your stuff, right? And
Right.
so when I was deciding that I was going to do this this radio show, there used to be old ownership. And by the way, I know you don't like hearing this kind of shit because you're a humble guy. And is Zig still here?
No, I think he left.
Oh, that sucks. Well, anyway, I think a band was asking me this question just the other day, and they were asking me like, Ryan, you know, how much money do you make doing your radio show? See, right?
Oh, wow, that's a good one. Yeah.
it was fucking
Let
hilarious.
me think about that for a while.
Yeah, and I was like, man, shit. You guys don't know what it's like. This is why I think the radio station is a punk rock radio station because, fuck, man, keeping the doors open in this place is it's no challenge. And I don't think people give Dutchie enough credit. I mean, this guy, he loves this shit so much, and he sacrifices more than anybody here at the station. And if it wasn't for Dutchie, there would be no chaoticradio.com. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart, brother. I love your dedication. Zig has stepped up, and he's now one of the co-owners. I know he loves the station too. Without you guys, man, we wouldn't be able to do anything here. So thanks for that, man. I really appreciate
Welcome, man. I love doing it.
it. All right.
Briefs. I got about 50 brief songs, but not the one you asked for. I can play anything else you want.
What else do you got?
Fuck, you tell me. My Girl Wants to Be a Zombie, Move Too Slow, Piss on the Youth, Vitamin Bomb, you name it. I got fucking four of their albums, but not that particular song.
God damn it. Well, why don't we do this? Before I ask you to play it. So here's what I was getting to about doing the show. So when I first started doing the show, I started reaching out to some of my friends' bands. You know, guys from the Voodoo Glow Skulls, lots of different other bands, and I started asking them. I was like, "Hey, man, I want to do this radio show. What do you guys think about coming on and while I play some punk rock?" And they were, everyone was really receptive. And so what I did, Dutchie, and this is what I do, so you guys know, is I wrote out a list. It's basically like a bucket list, and I said, these are the bands that I want to have on my show, and this would be fucking awesome. And it takes time with all of them because, especially with some of the bigger bands, and this band right now that we were just talking about right now, the Briefs, one of my favorite bands of all time. God damn, I love the Briefs. And if you listen to the show regularly, you'll hear a stinger here and there where it says, "Hey, we're the Briefs," and you listen to the Black Lung Show on chaoticradio.com. Man, that makes me so happy hearing that every single time. I do have it on vinyl, but I've got the box set of the singles. So I have the song, but I don't want to fuck it up for you guys. It's all autographed because I'm a nerd. I saw them. Well, I've seen them a few times. I think I saw them opening up for the Stooges back at the Ink and Iron Festival in Long Beach many years ago, and I bought the set. And they were nice enough to autograph for me. I forgot to bring that one too. They had a limited edition Briefs vinyl, and I'm a proud owner of one of them. That's the cool thing about vinyl too, is that when people do the limited pressings, you got to get those things fast, man. So anyway, the Briefs, I emailed them and their tour manager because they were coming on tour and they were going to play characters, and that was one of the best shows I've ever been to, and that was one of the coolest rock star moments for me, being a host and not a musician. When their manager called me and said, "Are you and the missus coming down to the show?" And it was the Briefs, it was the Crowd, it was the Soul and Bones, and the Tijuana Stranglers. Just a fucking amazing lineup. He's like, "You're on the guest list, man." I was, hell yeah. So I went down there, checked out the show. It was, again, they're one of the best live bands ever. They're just amazing. So let's just do it randomly. Fuck it. Because I don't think there is a bad song from the Briefs. Dutchie, why don't you just pick something? You're listening to the Black Lung Show on chaoticradio.com. Here are the Briefs. When he clicks on it. Black Lung Show.
These are the things that belong to me. Nothing that's worth $5. You see,
There you go. That was a breeze, and that was one of the best shows that I've ever done. I had so much fun, and you know, Lena who just left to go to work. She was engineering for me there, and she was always talking shit and making fun of me because she would see there sometimes that when I would nerd out, man, and I do. I'm not a rock star by any stretch of the imagination. I'm a fucking music fan, man. I love going and buying vinyls and discovering bands. I love going to shows. I love supporting the scene. I mean, that's why we even started our own record label. That's why I used to be a booking agent. I used when I was a kid, Dutchie, I got a job at a venue called the Copacetic Cafe. And anybody that's listening from Southern California, it was a little tiny horrible place in San Bernardino. Crazy ass shows there. I can remember a bunch of riots and all sorts of crazy stuff. I got a job there, and this was my job, was that when the owner had a punk show, I would take the flyers and I would go out and take it to record stores, or I would pass them out in high schools and stuff like that. And my payment was I got to go to the shows for free. That was it. Just because I love the scene.
Yeah, and that's better than money. It's worth more than the money at the time.
Yeah, exactly. So I love what I was saying is I was nerding out because there's been a couple of times where now that we're on YouTube, you can actually see me, you know, and sorry for that. I know the voice is sexy shit, and then you see me, you're like, what the fuck, this dude, that's what he looks like? Yeah.
The old girls like you.
But when I had the briefs here, especially in studio live, man, I just kept looking. I was like, I can't believe this, man. I mean, here I am, a huge fan. I mean, this would be like if you guys you're listening. I know you guys are punk fans, but if you're not, say you're just some random person, like imagine just having like Guns N' Roses in your studio. Like that's how I look at them. You know, like I don't give a shit about that kind of stuff. You know, Poison or any of these rock star bands. I look at these bands. These are my favorite bands, and so I'm just looking at them like, holy shit. And when CJ Ramon from the Ramones called in, I mean, I'm fist pumping. I'm like,
I know,
yeah.
man. You get excited. You get excited as fuck.
I do, man. I do. I love this shit. And so, the Breeze. Well, that was one of the best shows that I've done. I've done a lot of good shows. Every show's usually good, but there's been a handful of ones where I'm just blown away. I'm like, holy shit. When I got to interview Cheetah Chrome from the Dead Boys, one of my heroes. And I couldn't fucking believe that. That was awesome. The Briefs, that was another one. Channel 3 was in here in studio, and that took me a fucking year to book them. Sometimes bands are not easy to lock down for these shows.
It's funny because I only just discovered Channel 3 just as you were having them on your show.
Is that right?
Yeah.
God, they're a great fucking band, man. And they're so down to earth. And then the funny thing is that when I'm interviewing them, I'm going back and I'm looking through. If you go to Channel 3's website, they've got a blog on there, and I'm not sure if it's Kim or Mike, which one of the guys writes stories about it. But damn, I've talked to them, Dutchie. They're supposed to come back in because they just released a new album. They even asked. They said we got to come back in. So I'm working with them again. It's tough booking stuff with some of these bands. But I was reading one of the blogs, and they were talking about back in the early '80s when they went and were playing with the Misfits. The original Misfits with Glenn Danzig, and they were at Glenn Danzig. They were because they're all kids, in their very early '80s, and they were hanging out at Danzig's house, and he took them to like an arcade and stuff like that. Like it was just it's a trip to read the stories. I want to ask them about that, but anyway, I want to keep playing more music. Another guest that I've had twice on the show, really cool cat. His name is Bob Odie. He sings for two different bands. One is called Glue Gun. Glue Gun's a great band, but he also sings for this old school punk band from Southern California called The Grim. This is a 7-inch. This is brand new that just came out not too long ago. It's been only a couple of months since he was on the show. If you guys are looking at this, check it out. This is The Grim's 7-inch Cop Killer, and I love that. Not the fact that I like killing cops, but I don't know if you remember this or not. When Body Count first came out, that's Ice-T's heavy metal band. I was a big fucking fan of that. And they had that song Cop Killer, and it was a big, big controversy. Me, as a young adolescent idiot, I would blast that shit in my truck when I was driving to work or anywhere, and like a cop would be pulling up next to me, and I'd roll down the window and just blast that and just sing the top of my lungs, Cop Killer! Like a fucking asshole. Like, I am so lucky to be alive. I should have got my ass kicked or shot millions of times.
No, it's freedom of speech.
It is freedom of speech, but it's also called being an
Deserved
asshole.
a ticket at least.
Yeah. But I don't know. I thought that shit was funny. But anyway, they released their own version. It's not a cover song. It's their own song, Cop Killer. And I'm going to play it for you right now. Oh, I love that sound. You're listening to the Black Lung Show on chaoticradio.com. I did it. There's the wrong speed. Let's try that again.
I just thought it was like a Dickies version.
This is the Grim. This is Cop Killer on the Black Lung Show. That was the Grim. You're listening to the Black Lung Show live on this beautiful Sunday. Well, now it's getting to be the evening.
Yeah, it's dark. It's winter fucking time and all that shit now. It's Christmas is upon us. We'll be doing Christmas punk songs and Christmas punk shows. You got anything coming up with the band, Christmas wise?
Just the Bridge of the Midget show with Spix and World Class Act over at PK's Roadhouse in Lake Elsinore. That's the 29th. That's the only thing that we're doing because for anybody listening, you know, if you guys have actually checked out my band, we were recording an album, and we were lucky enough to record at a great studio. Eddie Casillas from the Voodoo Glow Skulls has a studio at his house, and it's called Dog Run Studio. He's one of the coolest cats in the world. So he recorded 5 songs from us. We still have to master those. But then along the way, this is actually kind of recent. It's only been a few months. Our drummer quit on us. So we had to get a new drummer. We have a new drummer. His name is Freddie. I think my band's called Something Ferocious. He came in, and he's just fucking killing it. He's awesome. And here's something cool, Dutchie, is that these last couple of practices that we've had, the guys call me, and they're like, hey, Ryan, we got a brand new song. We can't wait for you to come in and hear it. And I come in, and it's just fucking brutal. You've seen my band a bunch of times. The band is kind of changing. It's not in a bad way. We had a lot of different styles mixed together, but now when you hear the name Something Ferocious, that's what you're gonna see. It's faster, it's meaner, it's angrier, it's tough, dude. And we got
How
some friends
about Something Ferocious being a guest on my show?
as soon as the music's done, for sure.
All right,
Absolutely.
yeah, let's fucking do that.
For sure.
We do a special Sunday brunch
Yeah,
show.
absolutely.
Fucking A.
The guys will be excited to do it.
That'd be cool.
So yeah, what we decided to do is that we decided to, because the problem is, and here's something some advice for other musicians. This is what happens with a band. We start arguing with each other, and not really arguing, but just discussing. How's that? I always want to play. I love playing live. There's nothing better for me than being on stage. It's the funnest thing in the world. And I don't give a shit if there's 5 people or 5,000 people there. I just love being on stage with my brothers and playing. However, when we get all these show offers and we're like, okay, you guys, we got to offer a show in Long Beach or even an Inland Empire show. The problem is that we start focusing on that show. And so when we get to band practice, we're rehearsing all the songs for that instead of actually writing new material.
Yeah.
So what we decided to do and just say, look, you know, we have to take a step back and we have to just say, we're not going to play any shows for a little while, just to give us some time. And so we've got 2 brand new songs that we just wrote. One's called Blackout. One's called Rats in the Sheets. We've got another one that's in the works because luckily I have two amazing guitar players in my band, and each one will write a brand new song and bring it to our practice, and we'll do that. So that's it. We only got the stuff. Just that show on December 29th at PK's Roadhouse in Lake Elsinore. Dutchie plays in a band called the Part-Time Punks. You've got a show coming up too, right?
Yeah, we got a show next Sunday. Next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
Fitzgerald's in Huntington Beach. Just two bands. Jack and Peg are playing, which is Buddy Nuggets and Dennis Walsh from The Crowd. They're playing, and we're playing. So we're doing about an hour set. Next week, we have our debuting our new singer for the show, which is Toxic Energy's own Greg Dixon, Chaotic Radio's Greg Dixon. So looking forward to that. And I'm going to give this a shout out. We were in the studio on Wednesday night this week, and Greg was in a very polite way going, you know what? Fuck this shit. I wanted to play with Pennywise at fucking House of Blues in Anaheim, and those motherfuckers are giving us a show to play with them all the way up in Sacramento.
No shit.
And then the next day, they got added to the show at House of Blues in Anaheim. So the Pennywise show on November the 30th at House of Blues in Anaheim. Love Canal are playing, which is Bosco and Eric Von Arab's band. They were in the studio with us about 2 months ago. Yeah. And then Toxic Energy are playing on the same bill at House of Blues in Anaheim.
Yeah, I saw that.
You can't get tickets though; it's already sold out. So
is that right?
You can get mine. Mine are only 3 times face value. You can take mine.
There you go. If you want to call in and ask for those tickets, the number is 909-360-8330. Like that segue?
Give me an offer.
There's also another great band on that bill, H2O. That's it's a hardcore band, cool band. So that's a fucking killer lineup. You got Toxic Energy. You've got Love Canal, you've got H2O, and then you've got Pennywise. That reminds me. During my regular, our regular lives, right? When we're not on stage and we're not, behind the mics doing the radio thing. So I'm an exterminator during, how I pay the bills. I think it was 2 days ago, Dutchie. I was walking by. I wasn't walking by. I was in someone's front yard, and I was killing gophers. Fucking exciting, right? And the house next to me has got a guy that's listening to one of the FM stations, a rock and roll station. And so I'm listening. They're playing, I don't know, System of a Down first or something. And then Bro Hymn comes on by Pennywise. And I can hear the guy in there singing the whoa part, right?
Yeah.
Just completely horrible. Just like he had never heard the song before. Just, oh God, it was fucking painful. I'm like, God damn it, man. It's funny as hell to me that there's only a handful of bands that have that, I guess kind of crossover success that you can actually hear them on like a station that plays Led Zeppelin and fucking Guns N' Roses every hour. And so every once in a while you'll hear a Clash song or you'll hear Social Distortion, and then you hear Pennywise and you come up and it's funny. And like I wonder what people that don't listen to punk when they hear that, they just go, what is this shit? I
had never heard that song until we were at Punk Rock Bowling. And I'd been warned about it. And it came on and I'm like, really? That's what's going to get 7,000 people singing along? And I guess it's an anthem. I guess everyone knows it and everyone fucking loves it. But to me, that's right up there with fucking Blink-182's greatest hits,
Oh, shit. Well, I love your honesty, man. I think because it's got... I think because it's the easiest fucking song in the world to sing. It's just all you have to do is sing the woes. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I'll go along with that.
So anyway, let's get back to because we're winding down on some time. So I want to play some more music, some more of the great guests. Another one of the bands that you can hear as like a stinger for the Black Lung Show and chaoticradio.com is a band, old school band on. That I had here in studio, and here's the album. It's all autographed. I should have got a second.
What band is it?
This is Shattered Faith, my friend. Shattered Faith.
This is Shattered Faith, and you're listening to the Black Lung Show on chaoticradio.com.
God damn, man, you were right on the money with that.
Yeah, I thought it might be the briefs and Shattered Faith sneaking in.
Yeah. So here's some more vinyl for you on the Black Lung Show. You're listening to Chaotic Radio. Shattered Face.
Well, I saw the dream change in your eyes. On empty days, looking so mesmerized. You touched my life and you ran away. Lost in the crowd, saw you again today. So much has changed since '79. Playing music for the kids of our time. No more rock stars, just the myths. And the newsprint clippings from the year's events. The level will rise. The level will rise. The level will rise and resurrect us from our tomb. I saw the scene change in your eyes. An empty head looking so mesmerized. You touched my life and you ran away. Lost in the crowd, saw you again today. The level will rise. The level will rise. The level will rise and resurrect us from our tomb.
Shattered Faith. This is the album I was playing right now. Make sure to pick this thing up. It's on Hostage Records. It's a funny thing, too. I used to be in a band called The Hostages. I think that's cool as shit. And Hostage Records has a great lineup. Hey, I had a question for you. Maybe this doesn't pertain to you, Dutchie. But for a lot of us here in the scene, the record label actually meant a lot to us. So if you were signed to Doctor Strange or Dr. Dream, Hellcat, Epitaph, Hostage Records, there's BYO Records, Victory Records out in New York. Like there's been some serious record labels from that are part of the scene. Epitaph, obviously, one of the first ones, from the guys from Bad Religion. Without these guys, there wouldn't be records being put out. So maybe we should try to reach out to some of these record labels and tell them, like, look, man, we are playing you guys' stuff. You guys should send us some free shit.
Well, you know what? I'll give a big shout out to Doctor Strange. He does that. Gives me a lot of shit.
That's true. No, and he
Yeah.
does, and he does for me too.
And I've been talking with him a little bit and about putting together a compilation of the bands, more the unsigned bands that we get on the show. Putting together a compilation of those bands. I mean, and I love the guy as a friend, as a businessman, and as a businessman, he's like, you do realize that in this genre now, no fucker buys CDs, no one buys compilations. So if you make it, it's gonna cost you money. You won't sell it. You'll be giving them away.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Let's do 1,000 copies of a compilation between me and you.
I talked to him about the same thing too. So, but hey,
and let's do this.
yeah, after the show, you want to talk about it? I'm down to go in with you. you
Yeah,
know?
let's do it.
I mean, you guys are listening, man. This is out of fucking pure love, dude. We make fucking nothing off the show. We do this because we love it. That's why we have these shows here for you guys, and we have the best time doing it because we get to talk to just great people and we get to meet awesome people. And so one of my favorite guests, he was a call-in guest on Dutchie's show, and then he actually came in with his new band, the Soul and Bones. Billy Bones is one of the coolest cats in the world. And then not taking anything away from the Soul and Bones, Justin and Easy Lou, all those guys are fucking great guys, great musicians. Actually, Dutch, I'll tell you this, man. Ever since the Soul and Bones came on my show, Justin brought the Darts in, another great band that we mentioned earlier. they are just fucking amazing. That record that they just put out. The reason I don't have it here is because unfortunately they didn't put out any vinyl with a new album. But the Soul and Bones, make sure to go pick that up. And you got some Soul and Bones? Can you find some of that?
Oh, you definitely. I'm sorry, you were asking me for that. I was looking for Dayglow Abortions.
Oh, I got Dayglow Abortions here.
Do you?
I got that covered. But the Soul and Bones, man. You know, Dutchie, how many bands? And be honest, man, because you were saying earlier that some of the bands, you know, because you're not booking them, so you're not knowing who's coming on your show. But with me, that's why I handpick the bands, because I want to have really good bands on my show, so I can be proud to say, like, hey, these guys are on my show. That's why I even sometimes, if you guys are listening, that you see either it's a family situation where I don't have the time to do the show, and I won't do a show on a Sunday. That's why it's not every single week. But there's also times when I don't have a guest and I'll cancel. And I'm glad I didn't do it today. I don't think I'm gonna do that anymore. If I don't have a guest, then I'll just come in here and I'll play some punk rock, and we'll talk punk rock with Dutchie. It's a fun time.
Man, you as a show, the Black Lung Show, has got too much to offer and give back to our scene, and too many bands to do what we're doing with today. To love them and thank them for what they have done, and for those bands that have been in. Dude, we got so much fucking good music. With just that, I got a stack of vinyl like yours from the bands who've been in and given it to me, CDs, you name it. Dude, I could do a fucking 2-week show just based off the music from the bands that came in and gave me.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. So my question to you was this, is that how many, you've already said Unit F, right?
Yeah.
How many other bands can you name that have been on your show that after they've been on your show and you heard their album, you actually listened to them in your car or on your phone, like nonstop? Which bands? I'm just curious.
Riot Gun.
Riot Gun. All right, I got some of their stuff here too. I think we're running out of time, but anybody else?
Yeah. The Dirty Priests.
I love the Dirty Priests.
Love the Dirty Priests. Fucking hell, there's CDs up there. I'll tell you one funny one.
What's that?
Ukulele Hero.
I love Ukulele Hero.
Yeah. I got 4 of his CDs. I listen to them all the time. Soul and Bones.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. Again, you know what? Next week we'll come back and I'll give you a true list of the bands, and I'll be honest with you, I won't bullshit it, of the bands where I can go, you know what? Yeah, I listen to this.
All right.
You know, I got a new car recently, and it's so Back to the Future. The fucker doesn't even have a CD player, and that pisses me off. Don't give me all that technology shit. Give me a fucking CD player.
That's right. Shit, and we went get an 8-track player in that thing.
Yeah. So I do have Soul and Bones lined up for you.
All right. See, now this is, and being honest, man, I got to see the Soul and Bones with the crowd and the Briefs. That was an amazing show. I got to host as the guest MC for Symbol 6's CD release party at the El Cid when Soul and Bones played there too, and I got to see them, and whew, man, they are smoking hot. And I'm telling you guys, this is the truth. You go check out the Soul and Bones, buy their albums. Don't download that shit for, don't cheat the band. These bands work hard. Buy the album, man. Buy it. It's on iTunes. You can go to I don't know if they have a website or not, but just look at it, the Soul and Bones. This is a band that I can tell you honestly that when I'm home, if I'm not listening to the Dayglow Abortions or the Misfits or the Ramones, I swear to God I'm listening to Soul and Bones. This is one of the best bands that's going today. They've got a legendary singer, and they've got nothing but cool cats in the band. And we're going to take you guys out with this. I'm going to get going. Dutchie, my friend, thanks again for today. Well, I think I've got a really cool band coming in next Sunday. I got to confirm it. They got a brand new album, so we're going to do a Chaotic Radio debut. I just don't want to announce it yet. I'll be surprised. But make sure you guys tune in. And thanks for listening, everybody. And keep sending in your music. I was making a joke about this. Some of the bands, when you guys send music to me, and I was joking about it, saying that some of these bands suck. They don't suck to everybody. It's just for me. I've got my own taste. I love punk rock and roll. And if you're sending me like heavy metal and stuff like that, well, that's fine. I'll give it to Zig, or I'll give it to one of the other shows, and maybe
I'll throw mine in the trash. I'll be honest with you.
Dutchie doesn't give a shit. You're listening to the Black Lung Show on chaoticradio.com. Here are the Soul and Bones.
It's dangerous.
I
watch it tick and glide.
Yeah, I'm so tired of running.
I feel my blood surge.
Expecting something from nothing.
Don't kill the messenger.
Don't want no blood on the money.
The best of him, the best of her.
We felt the pressure was coming. Hey, we're born in LA. We're born in LA. Yeah, 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 yeah. We're born in Hollywood. Yeah, 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 yeah. We're born in Hollywood.
I hate myself to dry.
We're all part of the condition.
Give it a last try.
Yeah, who's got who in submission?
Don't kill the messenger.
Don't want no blood on the money.
The best of him, the best of her.
We felt the pressure was coming. Hey, we're born in LA. Hey, we're born in LA. Yeah, 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 yeah. We're born in Hollywood. Yeah, 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 yeah. We're born in Hollywood. Have I come undone? Oh, have I come undone? Oh, have I come undone? One, two, three, go. Hey, we're born in LA. Hey, we're born in LA. Yeah, 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 yeah. We're born in Hollywood. Yeah, 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 yeah. We're born in Hollywood. Yeah, 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 yeah. We're born in Hollywood. Yeah, 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 yeah. We're born in Hollywood.
Always, at every moment, be the thrill of victory, the thrill of victory. If you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever. The moral to be drawn from this dangerous nightmare situation is a simple one. Don't let it happen. It depends on you. It depends on